As Formula 1 arrived in Spain, we all got the news that we've been waiting for since pre-season. And that is that Red Bull have lost their court case against Petronas after their multi-year sponsorship deal was officially confirmed within the documents that had all been submitted in court. Now, to give you a rundown of what had been going on, effectively, last season, Petronas were title sponsors of Red Bull. There were some issues towards the end of the season, and Red Bull ended that title sponsorship deal and moved on to Hugo Boss. Now, where they didn't do things legally in all this is they didn't go to Petronas to create effectively a split within the contract. They just basically ripped it up and moved on and refused to give any form of compensation to Petronas. Now, Red Bull tried to tie this up by saying that they had a one-year title sponsorship deal with the option to extend for multiple years. However, Petronas completely denied this and obviously took it to court, and the outcome has been proven here that Petronas did indeed have just a straight multi-year deal, and that what Red Bull did was indeed wrong. Now, Petronas are very happy to have this case done, and they can focus heavily now on their partnership with Aston Martin, which they feel has been affected by the issues that have been going on with their previous title sponsors, Red Bull. And when Red Bull were asked about this court case loss, well, they just refused to comment on that. So maybe we'll hear some more later down the line if they wanted to come out and make a statement. But as of now, unfortunately for them, they are the losers in the battle. Well, now there's been a conclusion to the battle off the track. What about the battle on the track? Well, Mercedes were setting the times purple in practice as they look to redeem themselves after a shocking Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix weekend. And they've started it in fine style, topping the sessions in FP2 and FP3. But they were closely followed by the Scarlet cars of Ferrari, who were looking to cause Mercedes problems thanks to their short runs in particular that were very, very competitive. One team that's been competitive all season long, but doesn't look to be that way this weekend, was Red Bull. They're really having a lot of problems with warm-ups on their tyres, and this is specifically affecting them for their qualifying runs. Now, during the race trims, we could see that Red Bull were getting closer and then slightly faster than their rivals after 2 or 3 laps of running on a fresh set of tyres, but when it came down to a 1 lap go on the qualifying sims, Red Bull were very much struggling, and this might mean that they have to start out of position unless they can find the right balance to this. Porsche were also having big problems on their qualifying simulation runs. All of their setups were working nicely, just like Red Bull's in the long runs, but in the short runs, it just wasn't working for them, and they were just finding their car to be very, very slow. They then tried to adjust this in FP2 to try and get a bit more qualifying performance back, but then lost a lot of their performance in the race trim. So will Porsche try and find a better balance, or will they go down the route of just sacrificing qualifying and hoping that they can make up the places in the long runs? And lastly, Jaguar are having a very, very positive weekend so far. They're very, very happy with the setup of their car going into the Spanish Grand Prix, and hopefully it can give them a good weekend. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxydude here. Welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of the F1 journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today, this is season number 11, round 11 for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, feel free to drop the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, because my god, the stress of trying to get this video released has been an absolute nightmare. Obviously, apologies for not having an F1 journey video out last week. Effectively, as I put in a community post and put on my social medias, my F1 23 on Steam just would not work for at least like 6 days straight. I tried every single trick I could in the book, and I literally had a video ready to go to tell you that I couldn't make this series anymore because I literally ran out of options. But finally, I managed to get it working, and I'm back to normal until it breaks again, probably. But as you can see, we're here for qualifying, and this is our first flying lap here in this circuit, and I was feeling very comfortable actually on my first run around here, so I felt like I'd showcase to you guys the lap. We've gone purple in the first sector, and of course, as you would have seen from the practice news, we are currently in a very strong position. The car feels good, the car feels more comfortable, and I just feel more on the pace than I did last time around at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, where I was way, way off the pace. But here, the car definitely is working to my liking here. As we go through it towards the middle sector now here, going in towards the hairpin, you can see taking a nice wide line before we tuck ourselves in to this right-hander, and then we just short shift up into 5th just to try and stop the rear ends from stepping out on me here as we now go up the gears and in towards this last corner, which is absolutely beautiful to take in this car flat out as we open the DRS and we cross the line, and our first lap of the session is actually good enough for provisional pole, which was a very big surprise to me because normally my banker laps are not that great, but Max Verstappen has actually just got in front of us here, and as I tried to improve on my lap, unfortunately it didn't quite go to plan. We lost the back end, we broke too deep into the corner. I then got onto the sausage curb, the back end stepped at me, the front wing is gone, but crucially it's still good enough for a front row start. Alright, so as you can see, we're on the grid here for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be a one-stop strategy for us here today. It's going to be the softs to the medium compound tyres to the end, and let's see what we can do then. The 5 lights are on, and the 5 lights will now go off, and we're underway, and it's a great start for us there. A little bit of wheel spin, but we just about counter it. Verstappen with a poor start there, and we instantly take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Verstappen now has to defend against Oscar Piastri as we go in towards the first corner. Probably turned in a little bit too early in towards the first corner, but we lead this Grand Prix. Verstappen, I believe, is just about as we get hiccups there, holding on into second place here as we now go in towards the end of the first sector. Fastest of anybody, obviously, because this is the first lap of the race, but that's a perfect start. I felt like I really made an error. Well, I did make an error, but I felt like I really threw away a chance at pole position in qualifying. And now here, we've managed to jump Verstappen straight away now as we make our way through this middle sector, trying to not make the same mistake as we did last time. But Verstappen is very close to the back of us here now as we make our way down this straight here, just losing a little bit of time on the curb here. Verstappen with the run now, down towards the hairpin here. We're going to go to the inside, defend that position now as we just try and force Verstappen wide, which we do just that. Nice covering there. Verstappen trying to get the place back, but instantly Verstappen's going to try and send it up the inside. A little bit of contact there between myself and Verstappen, but Max is desperate here to get that place back after he lost it early on, but we go a little bit too early on the turning there into the last corner, just tapping the gravel trap there. We set the fastest lap here of this race, but already put under massive pressure here. Verstappen trying to come out as Piastri, trying to go down the inside into turn 1. We'll box off Piastri, hold off Verstappen, down the inside we go. Verstappen to the outside, we've got the inside, and we cover the position there, but that is a chaotic first lap, and if that's anything to come for the rest of the race, we're going to have to be on our toes, and we need to cut out the mistakes because there was too many on that first lap, and Max Verstappen really had a chance there to get at us and try and make that place stick there. So we need to make sure that we eliminate everything that we have done in that first portion. Let's have a look at the race start though. So as you can see, when the 5 lights go out, you can see that we get a very nice start. It's a little bit ropey to start with, but we just get the secondary phase absolutely spot on. Get straight towards the outside line here. Verstappen's instantly on the defensive here because Piastri's coming at him now. So Max dives it down the inside. Oscar's got the place here. He's going around the outside into turn 2, but Verstappen holds it on in there. And then as they go through towards turn 3, Max just keeps the momentum going and stays in front. This is on board with George Russell here. Now, Russell, I believe, is the first of the drivers to start on the medium compound tyres, and he just doesn't quite get the launch that he probably wants here. And as we make our way in towards the first corner, Russell struggles quite a lot here. Down the inside now, he's under pressure. I think Perez is in front. Bottas now is trying to get through, and Bottas is in front. Perez there getting through as well, so it's not a great start from him. This is on board here with Callum Ilott now, who didn't quite get an amazing start. However, he then overtakes Lando Norris here because Norris gets caught out by Russell having a bad start, but Norris then gets a better drive down towards turn 1, and it's a little bit of a fight here between these two drivers now. Ilott here on the outside, Norris is still, on the inside. Norris now got the outside line for turn 3 here, but as you can see, Lando's just able to get the drive, use the slipstream that he's got from Russell to his advantage, and he can stay out in front here. Lap 4 of the Grand Prix, and we've got the DRS now enabled, and George Russell is going to go for a move here on Lando Norris now down in towards turn 1, and the job is done for George Russell. Moves himself up a place in this Grand Prix. Norris now having to defend from the Porsche of Reese behind, who's making great progress after he started down in 13th place. End of lap 4 now to start lap 5. Back on board with myself here. Not really making any mistakes now in this Grand Prix. Starting to get a bit of composure back into this race. But as we get onto the end of this lap now, lap 5 here, Verstappen is still right on our tail here. The Ferrari definitely showing some good race pace in these early phases. And here comes Verstappen now, down towards turn 1 here. Max now round the outside, but will fend the position off quite nicely. And Sam, as wily as he always is going to take that position as well away from Verstappen. And he's up into second place now in this Grand Prix. Verstappen dropping to 3rd, Piastri down into 4th, but Sam with a great move there, and it's a great move, and it's a puff of smoke there. Was that just a lock lockup, or is that the engine going? It's the engine that's gone for championship contender Sam. He is not going to score a single point in this Grand Prix, and he is going to have to park that car up, and oh, he's got so close there to George Russell, but he parks the car up, and just after he's overtaken Verstappen for second place in the Grand Prix, he's going to have to park the car up, and he already was trying to fight back after losing ground, I think 2 races ago, when he failed to score a point, or maybe got like very little points in the Grand Prix. And on this occasion now, his championship aspirations have taken another big hit here in the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is a massive shame for him. But it's a big shame for Max Verstappen too, because he had got himself back up into second after all that. But Piastri now is going to go down the inside here of Verstappen. Max will hold it around the outside, takes the inside for 2. Verstappen goes around down the inside, but Oscar has the inside line for turn 3. Verstappen couldn't get the momentum out of turn 2, and Verstappen is constantly going backwards now in this Grand Prix, because Hamilton now has got a run here at Verstappen. We still lead this race, but only just here. Piastri still in the DRS and myself, as Verstappen now is trying to defend here against Hamilton. Will Hamilton do exactly what Piastri did to Max on the previous lap? No, on that occasion, Verstappen's actually got enough there to hold the gap between himself and Lewis Hamilton. Lap 9 of the Grand Prix. Piastri coming at me here with DRS down in towards turn 1, but we've got good straight line speed actually. Probably a little bit more than I should have, as the back end there snaps there. Exit of turn 2 there. Snap of oversteer there, as Piastri now senses a chance here to potentially go for it down towards turn 4, but not enough there for Piastri to go for it. We can cover that quite easily in all of that, and there's contact! There's contact between myself and Oscar Piastri, and a little bit more there between contact of myself and Verstappen, but Piastri goes into the side of us there, in towards turn 4. We lose the lead of this Grand Prix. Verstappen retakes the lead at the Spanish Grand Prix. Hamilton now gets past Oscar Piastri, but we've just been sideswiped there by Oscar, and here's a replay of it. We go into towards turn 4 here. We go a little bit wider than what Piastri does, and Piastri, yeah, he just tags the back end of the car and then goes into the front of our car there, and that might have just done some damage to our own floor there in all of that, as we get a cheeky little screen grab of that as well, which is nice to see. Lap 10 of the Grand Prix though, we're catching up to Verstappen here, getting closer, and oh, Verstappen there just making a little bit of a move down in towards turn 1, so we're going to aggressively turn back on him there in towards the first corner, retaking the lead of the Grand Prix. But there is a little bit of a problem in this Grand Prix, and that is that the contact between myself and Oscar Piastri has actually given me very minor floor damage. Not like significant to the point where you can see it on the screen. Verstappen, meanwhile, is trying to go at me in towards turn 4 as I'm explaining that. I felt a big difference straight away as soon as I got hit by Piastri, and as you can see here, lap 10 of the Grand Prix now, Hamilton is stalking the back of Verstappen here. It's a 2v1, or some Mercedes sandwich that Verstappen has found himself in here. Hamilton now is going to have the DRS, Verstappen will have it too. We're going to instantly move over, give Hamilton the slipstream down the straight here to help him get this move done on Verstappen, then cut back to the racing line here to stop Verstappen getting the outbraking maneuver on Hamilton. That'll give Hamilton the opportunity to get the better release out of turn 3, and he's done that. It's a 1-2 now in the Spanish Grand Prix for Mercedes-Benz, but there's a long, long way to go in this Grand Prix. Hamilton there stalking me with DRS. Meanwhile, Bottas is going to go right round the outside here of Oscar Piastri into the hairpin, and after a difficult qualifying for Bottas, as was stated before, Red Bull turning it up when the race gets underway. Meanwhile, we're turning up the temperature of the rear tyres with that snap of oversteer on the exit of the second to last corner, but now through the last corner we go. This is where Hamilton now is going to get the DRS here down the straight. Verstappen will have it as well as we blast down the straight here. Has Hamilton got enough in hand to go for the overtake? I won't make this easy for Hamilton, but I'm not going to go as aggressive as I will against any other opponents, and round that in towards turn 1, we do exactly that. We've got enough to defend the position there against Lewis Hamilton, but we're obviously losing as little time as possible between the pair of us now as we make our way in towards turn 4. This corner here in particular is where I'm really struggling a lot to get the rotation in on the car, and it really has made a difference since the Piastri incident happened. And again, just these braking zones, you can see we're just braking late, and I've been braking normally in these positions for the opening 9 laps before we made the contact with Piastri, as Hamilton takes advantage of all that incident that we got going on and takes the lead away from us in this race. But crucially, he's done that in an area where there's DRS enabled, so we're going to use the DRS now and use some of the battery here and just breeze back past Hamilton down in towards the hairpin, literally going super late on the brakes there. Hamilton tries to switch back us, but we covered that line off, and now as we make our way round the final few corners, this section here, the AIs get such a great run out of here compared to what I do, but it's this final corner here where we get a better drive than the rest of the cars behind us. But now all of a sudden we've got 3 cars here right in contention with the DRS down the straight. We're going to be a sitting duck here. Hamilton takes the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. Bottas going to go to the outside, Verstappen to the inside. Which way are we going to defend this position? We cut off both drivers in towards turn 1 somehow. No idea why we've done that, but we have. And Hamilton now leads this race, but we stay in second place in this Grand Prix. Verstappen is third, Bottas is fourth, and we're just about staying ahead of this on lap 13 of the Grand Prix as we now make our way through in towards turn 4. But again, not getting the line right at all. And Verstappen here is going to get past us into second place, but we'll break late now down in towards turn 5, whatever turn it is. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, but it is the position still in our hands. Bottas, though, has managed to seize the opportunity of what we just did to Verstappen to take away third place for him, and we are now in third. Lap 13 of the Grand Prix here, and we're on board with Sergio Perez now, who's struggling a little bit here with George Russell right behind him here. Bottas has got the DRS on myself here. We're breezing down the straight here with Russell and also Perez in the final list. Perez has still got DRS though on the driver in front of Bottas, so he can use that to defend, and that's exactly what he will do here. Russell now is going to actually, no, I take that back. Perez had defended that in towards turn 1, but Russell through the corners gets the job done here on lap 14 of the Grand Prix though. We're coming into the pits. This is our scheduled pit stop lap, and we're going to come in and get off these soft compound tyres. They're definitely going off in this Grand Prix, and we've got a yellow flag in the last corner here. We've got an issue, and we've got a safety car that's been deployed, and that is not Fernando Alonso. That is Oscar Piastri that is out of the Spanish Grand Prix at the last corner. We've been held slightly in the pits though. Perez now has just jumped us in all of this, but we've just come in and the safety car is out, so that has now just made a complete change to the entirety of this Grand Prix, because we were running comfortable. Well, I say comfortable. We were running in second place with Bottas behind us. Now all of a sudden here, we've lost out to Sergio Perez in all of this. We've now got to stick to a delta, just like everyone else has done. So straight away now, they're going to get the run on us. So as we come out of the pits here, you can see that all of a sudden, we've gone from being in what is a net P2 in this Grand Prix, down to P6. And that is a nightmare for us in this race. So unfortunately for us, we're just going to have to settle now down into P6, and after this safety car restart, we're just going to have to try and gain some places back here. As you can see, lap 16 of the Grand Prix, safety car's coming back in now at the end of this lap here. Hamilton now has the lead of this Grand Prix. He's still got the lead actually from the safety car, so he's actually alright from this. Bottas is now in second place here, but Perez now has been caught napping here on the straight here, so we're going to take advantage of that, dump the battery here down the straight now. Green flag is once again underway here. Bottas is trying to go for a move on Hamilton in towards the first corner. We're going to go down inside of Sergio Perez. The job is done for us. Meanwhile, up ahead, Valtteri Bottas has just taken the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix away from Lewis Hamilton in this race. It didn't last long for the Mercedes driver out front, and now as we go in towards turn 4 here, having a look at George Russell, who's on the hard compound tyres, so he's on a slower tyre than what we are, and we're just circling now, seeing if we try and find a way past the McLaren driver, get a better exit out of the turn here, and we do just that here, but there's no room to go for it. Can't go down the inside, can't go around the outside, so we've got to be careful here. Bottas, meanwhile, is blasting away out front, so if Hamilton can just try and stay with him for as long as he can here, but we've got a great run here on George Russell, down towards the hairpin now. Can we make this move stick? Braking later than Russell, braking too late compared to what George Russell did, and he says, thank you very much, I'll have that one back. Once again in this Grand Prix, we're struggling with the braking. That's something that we just haven't been able to fix since this minor floor damage that we've suffered from Piastri earlier on in this race. Bit of karma that he's out of it, to be honest. Now as we go round in towards the last corner, swooping around the outside of George Russell, pure bravery, pure commitment from that, but it's a drag race now, down towards turn 1 here between myself and George Russell. Russell will not want to give this one up. Unfortunately though, down towards turn 1, we can brake later than Russell, and we've gained 2 places back after our issues via the safety car. Now we've got to get back up towards the top 3. We lost a little bit of time fighting with George Russell, but Bottas leads from Hamilton, from Russell, from Reese, from myself. Reese has been a massive benefit from this safety car because he's now in 3rd in this race. He started 13th in this Grand Prix, but unfortunately we've got yet another retirement, and it's even worse news for McLaren. It's going to be a double DNF for them here today, and George Russell, after being overtaken by us, is no longer getting a single point to his name. It's a horror show for McLaren here at the Spanish Grand Prix. No points on offer for any of them here today. That's a huge blow for them in the Constructors' Championship as well, because they were top in that standings, but we were not too far behind. What we are also far behind is my cousin Reese here. He's got DRS and Hamilton, but we're going to have a look here at Reese now, going in towards turn 1. Get on late on the brakes, but again though, too hot in towards turn 1, and we're going to have to use the escape roads here, and unfortunately, that overtake didn't stick there, and Reese says, thank you very much, I will have that one back. And he stays in 3rd place, but crucially, Valtteri Bottas is not blasting away out front in the distance. Hamilton's keeping in DRS range. Obviously, I'm on the back of Reese, and Reese is on the back of Hamilton, so the 4 of us are blasting away. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez is going further backwards in this second stint of the Grand Prix. Not happy on these medium compound tyres, because Callum Eilert has just got past him in the Jaguar on the hard tyres as well, so that's a little bit of an issue for him. Lap 22 of this Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton now has got the DRS here on Bottas. He's been sizing him up since the safety car restart, and he's got past Bottas into turn 1. Great move from Lewis Hamilton, taking the lead off of Bottas, but on the end of lap 22 to start lap 23, Valtteri Bottas will come back at him. Meanwhile, we go very wide there on the last corner, even kicking up a bit of gravel in all of that, but Bottas now opens up the DRS here, and he's going to breeze past Lewis Hamilton into the first corner and taking that lead straight back again. I can see these two swapping places a couple of times over now, as Valtteri says, no, I am in the Red Bull, and it is superior. Lewis Hamilton, though, meanwhile, is going to say, no, I'm in the Mercedes, and I've not had a good season so far, but I'm looking to make amends for that, and you can see Hamilton now goes past Valtteri Bottas into the first corner. Job done for him, and he is back into the lead of this race. Reese now right behind Valtteri Bottas. He might try and see if he can size him up going towards turn 4. It doesn't work on that occasion here, but now all of a sudden, all 4 of us are super close now in this Grand Prix as we swoop through the second to last corner, now through the final corner here, and we've got the run here. Hamilton now is going to be in trouble here because the 3 of us now have all got DRS in very close proximity in this Grand Prix. Bottas is going to take the position away from Hamilton. Reese is going to try and go for it here round the outside. We're also going to go round the outside of Hamilton, and in the space of one straight, Lewis Hamilton has gone from leading the Spanish Grand Prix to down into 4th now in this race. That's a horror show for Lewis Hamilton, and he'll be fuming about that one. But he just needs to keep his head in the game. Meanwhile, for us though, you can see the back end really struggling to just cooperate with us through those corners, and that's allowed Reese to pull away to the extent now where he's not got, well, we've not got the DRS on Reese after that horror of the final 2 corners. Lewis Hamilton though has the DRS on us, so we're not going to fight this one here. I'm going to let Hamilton re-overtake us because Reese is going to have the DRS on Bottas in front. We don't have the DRS. Hamilton had it on me, so at least we can get a couple of tenths back here and just allow ourselves to stay in this fight. The one thing that we cannot afford to do in this Grand Prix is lose out to the top 2 here. Meanwhile, you can see here we've got a split screen now because we're catching Hamilton. Meanwhile, Reese is going for a move here on Bottas in towards turn 1. We've got the run here on Hamilton with the DRS down towards turn 1. Reese leads the Spanish Grand Prix for the first time this weekend. As for us though, we've overtaken Lewis Hamilton, and now we need a big lap here to get back into DRS range of the top 2 because we, like I said, we can't afford for them to pull away. And crucially, on this lap alone, we've gone purple in the first sector, personal best in the middle sector. We put an absolutely brilliant lap together here, giving it everything to try and get back into DRS. We've done just that here. Reese now has got the DRS. Reese has not got DRS here against Bottas. We've got the DRS. We're going to go for it in towards turn 1. So late on the brakes there. We just about get the car slowed down in time and not have to take the runoff like we did against Reese earlier in the Grand Prix, and we take 2nd place in this race. Bottas now is going to be the man who is in front here. Meanwhile, we're trying to see if we can have a run here on Valtteri Bottas going down the straight here. As we can see, the DRS is open for ourselves. We're going for a run here. Bottas now struggling for performance, struggling for pace, and we're not struggling to take the lead of the race, and that's a great overtake for us done in this Grand Prix. Bottas now is going to be fuming about that one. You can see here though, going around in towards turn 2 here, Bottas is trying to get a run here on ourselves. We're just going to cover that one off here, but he's going to go and send it down the inside here. Valtteri Bottas trying everything here. We've got a little bit wide on the entry towards turn 4. We've been struggling with that corner all race long, but Bottas trying it round down towards turn 5. We're not having any of that here in this Grand Prix now. We're going to cover that one off here as we make our way down in towards this middle sector here. This is a key area of the circuit now, and we're struggling struggling again, just seeing the tyres now. They're starting to go off, mixture with that floor damage, and we're just struggling like mad here now to keep this pressure up. This is such a high intense Grand Prix. We can't afford to really be making these mistakes, but unfortunately, we're being pushed to our absolute limit in this Grand Prix. And again here, we go wide in towards sector last corner. Bottas will try and have the run here as we go side by side, back end stepping for the pair of us now. No one's wanted to give an inch here into the last corner, round the outside here of Bottas. We just hold the place off from the Red Bull driver, giving it everything here. Not one of us got DRS on that lap here, so that's a big issue for, well, Bottas, because he can't get the overtake done on us down the straight because we've got more straight line speed. What it will help, though, is Hamilton and Reese, because both of them got DRS, so they had a free shot to reclose that gap because they were just a little bit behind in the race. But meanwhile here, we've got a scrap here between Mason Woods and Theo Pourchaire, which is really going on for quite some time here. This is the same fight as what me and Bottas had just a second ago here. They're going for it now, side by side into the second to last corner, round the last corner here, and fair play to them. They've got the job done. Well, Mason Woods got the job done on this occasion here, but here comes the straight line speed now of the Aston Martin here. Pourchaire will try and use that. None of them have DRS, just like myself and Bottas, not able to have that advantage down towards turn 1 here, and the job is done for Theo Pourchaire. Fair play, great move for him on that occasion. Nothing that Mason Woods could do but just sit and watch the Aston Martin go by. Lap 32 of the Grand Prix now, and it's really hotting up now. As you can see here, Bottas is crawling all over the back of the gearbox of my Mercedes-Benz now as we go in towards turn 4, and you can see again that we get a nice entry into the apex here, but we can't carry the speed like the rest of them can. Bottas trying to go for it here, down the inside, or around the outside he goes. We'll cover the inside line off, and Hamilton now has just overtaken Bottas here for second place in this race. And now as we go on to the last lap, or the end of the second to last lap, we're going to start the final lap here of the Spanish Grand Prix. We've got the Mercedes of Hamilton right on the back of us here now as we go down the straight here. So as we blast our way now down towards the first corner, Hamilton is giving it everything here. He's going to go for a move here in towards turn 1. He's got me in towards the first corner. Lewis Hamilton leads the Spanish Grand Prix on the last lap here of this race, and now we need to try and see if we can cope with the pace that the Merc is going to be giving as we go now in towards turn 4 here. Bottas is right behind us. Reese is in third place, but again in towards turn 4 we go a little bit wide. Bottas now is going to try and nick the place here as we go in towards turn 5. We'll break later than Bottas. Bottas goes wide. Reese is trying to switch back on the pair of us here, but Bottas gets the better run, better exit than both of us here. But round we go into the middle sector. Oh, that was so close to some contact there between myself and Bottas there, but we just hold on against Valtteri in the fight there for second place. That's a massive one for the championship, of course, because me and Bottas are really scrapping it out for the championship this season. But for Lewis Hamilton, he's managed to pull away. We can't get close to him now in this final stage of the Grand Prix. There's nothing we can do against that Mercedes driver. So as we come round now, the final 2 corners here of this Spanish Grand Prix, round the last corner we go now. Lewis Hamilton, the defending champion, wins for the first time in season at number 11. He takes the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is a perfect race for Mercedes-Benz because it's a 1-2 finish for us here today, and that's probably the first 1-2 finish of the season, actually. I think it is. So do you know what? What a race that was. That was so difficult to race, and credit to Hamilton, to Bottas, to Reese for just pushing me to the limit. And this is what I'm loving about this season. I'm being pushed to the limit, and it's showing because I am making mistakes. I am struggling, and fair play. That was a cracking Grand Prix. Really enjoyed that. Lewis Hamilton, I'm really glad that he got his first win of the season. He's been struggling a lot compared to me in this season, and he's had a couple of times where he's been really competitive. In fact, I think he's been leading and then DNF'd from the Grand Prix as well. So big congratulations to Lewis Hamilton. In the end, we finished 1.6 seconds back, obviously, on that last lap. I probably would have got into DRS. Would I have been able to have overtaken Hamilton? No, I don't think so. I needed to be right on his gearbox going for that 1 DRS zone, and I wasn't. So, yeah, I mean, you could tell I was really struggling on my tyres. And I know I've mentioned it like 50 times, but the issue with the floor really affected me. Like I said, it was super minor, but when you can feel it like that, you can. Bottas finishes in 3rd place, 2 seconds off the race win, with Rees coming home in 4th, 2.4 seconds off the race win in the end. It turned into a 4-horse race for the victory, but in the end, whilst I was struggling heavily, at the end of the day, I'm glad that at least Hamilton was able to pull through and win. If I'd lost out to even Bottas and Rees, at least Mercedes got the victory here today. In the end, whilst I was fighting heavily for myself in the final 2 or 3 laps, especially when Hamilton got past Bottas, I knew that I had to be very careful with what I was doing because I wanted to maximise what the team could do. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I beat Bottas. That's the aim for the championship. We just got to keep beating him, and we've done that here today. Next up, after the top 4 of the 2 Ferraris, Lando Norris finishes in 5th, ahead of Max Verstappen, who finishes the race in 6th. Callum Ilott with a cracking race for Jaguar this weekend. That's a big one for the team as well. So he gets himself P7 and 6 massive points, beating Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, with Carlos Sainz finishing in P9 for Porsche. Both the Porsches started very far down the order. I think restarted in 13th and Sainz was like 17th or something like that. So great recovery from the pair of them here this weekend. Charles Leclerc just about gets himself a point for Audi, which he will very much take. Speaking of points, Lewis Hamilton got the extra point for the fastest lap. He set a 1:10.964 to claim that point. Looking at the second half of the table now, Nick De Vries just misses out on a point for Audi. He would have actually just lost out to Charles Leclerc in the end. Finishes in P11. Mason Wood with a strong race in P12 for BMW, with Pato O'Ward coming across the line in 13th place. Theo Pourchaire finishes the race in 14th for Aston Martin, 25.9 off the race win in the end. Now, you would have seen in the final 2 laps of the race that Pourchaire was fighting with Mason Wood, so how has he dropped 5 seconds off of all of that in the end? Turns out he actually got a 5-second time penalty. I don't know what for, I didn't find what he got a penalty for, but that's why he finished where he finished. Pierre Gasly finishes in 15th for Renault, with Van Dorn 16th in the second BMW car. Daniel Ricciardo finishes the race in 17th place, and overall, only 31 seconds covers the top 17 as the checker flag fell. Obviously, there was a safety car, though, that closed everybody up, and unfortunately, big hitters taking DNS this weekend. It's a double DNF for McLaren, and Oscar Piastri getting a DNF for Aston Martin is not what he needs for Aston Martin. So what has that done to the Drivers' Championship, and how has that affected it going into the next few races? Well, Valtteri Bottas still leads the Drivers' Championship, but we've cut that lead down to 1 point in the championship. Bottas is on 174 points. We're on 173 points. Meanwhile, for Sam, his aspirations of taking a second World Championship have taken a big blow this weekend, as unfortunately no points scored for him means he's now 29 points off the top of the championship. It's still capable of for him to do it. There is still 8 races, I think, left to go, so there's plenty of time, but he definitely didn't need a weekend like that. Max Verstappen moves back up to 4th in the championship for Ferrari on 95 points, overtaking Oscar Piastri, who stays 5th in the championship on 93 points. The man that's on 83 points is the man that's just won here this weekend. Lewis Hamilton jumps in front of Norris, Sainz and Russell to go on to 83 points, 91 points back in the Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris is 7th in the championship on 82 points for Ferrari. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz is on 74 points for Porsche, with George Russell on 69 points for McLaren. And Rees stays 10th in the championship on 45 points, but he's gradually getting himself a handy amount of points, and there's definitely still an opportunity for him to get 4th place in the championship. He just needs to be beating the others in front of him on a very consistent basis. Looking at the Constructors' Championship now and see how that's changed, well, it has done so. Mercedes, we are now back in top on the Constructors' Championship side of things, and we've now opened up a 40-point gap at the top of the Constructors' Championship. It has literally been worst case scenario for McLaren. McLaren had a 4-point lead going into this Spanish Grand Prix, and with a double DNF for McLaren, they have had the worst possible outcome of us as our team Mercedes picking up a 1-2 finish and getting that fastest lap point. So now we've got a 40-point lead in the Constructors' Championship. But for McLaren, they no longer can really be looking in front of them for the time being. They need to worry about what's going on behind them, because Red Bull now are on 210 points thanks to that double DNF, and they're just 6 points now behind McLaren in that race for second in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari sitting quite lonely in 4th in the championship on 177 points. Meanwhile, Porsche once again pull a little bit further clear of Aston Martin in that fight in the Constructors' Championship. They're now 15 points clear of them with 119 points to their name. Aston Martin with 104 points to theirs. Audi picking up just a couple of points with 29 now total to their name. Jaguar, meanwhile, crucially picking up 6 points now. So they were only 3 points clear of BMW. They now put themselves 9 points clear of BMW. And Renault still cannot find that performance to get them a point in this championship so far this season. But that is it for the F1 Journey Spanish Grand Prix. Let's go to the post-race notebook now and take a look at what the teams and drivers had to say after this Grand Prix. Taking a look at the post-race notebook after this Spanish Grand Prix, world champion Lewis Hamilton takes his first victory of the season here in Spain. Tom crossing the line in second place, making it a Mercedes 1-2, and the first 1-2 that we have seen this season, with championship rival Valtteri Bottas coming across the line to finish in P3. Toto Wolff has called out everyone who doubted Mercedes and said that they weren't good enough to defend their titles. It's been a tricky season for Mercedes-Benz, and it's definitely been a closer season for everybody to be contesting at the front of the field. But Toto Wolff said that he has still got the team, the personnel, and crucially, the drivers to make that difference. Meanwhile, for Sam and his McLaren team that are fighting for the championship, it was a double DNF for them this weekend, and Sam has said that McLaren must not let this weekend happen again this season. He says, we have more issues like this like we did last season, they'll find themselves out of the championship battle and crucially fighting for positions in the championship which they really don't deserve. And finally, Porsche praised Carlos Sainz and Reese for their efforts during the Spanish Grand Prix. The two of them qualified down in the bottom half of the grid, but Reese fought his way up to finish in P4, with Carlos Sainz finishing in P9. Reese was definitely able to take more of an advantage of the safety car period, but regardless, it was a cracking result for the two drivers as they continue to press their way as their upgrades continue to get them further up the order. But that is it, guys, for the F1 Journey Spanish Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well, and I'll catch you guys next time around for the Austrian Grand Prix. Take care all, peace.